Hey, lovelies. Welcome back to season 4 of the Immeasurable podcast. I'm Tonesha Hyde, your host, divine business alchemist, healer, sacred mirror, and warrior mystic. After taking a very sacred pause, doing some deep reflection, and a whole lot of realignment, we're bringing you this season with a whole new frequency. We're going deeper, discussing richer topics, and getting more soul rooted than ever. Now, we're still talking divine alignment, but we're expanding it. So this season, we're reclaiming our power through our shadow work, through our intuitive healing, through our ancestral wisdom, and we're even going to talk about and explore our sacred rage. We're here to honor the truth that the journey back to ourselves isn't always pretty, but it absolutely is powerful. We're going to talk about navigating the dark feminine, connecting with the parts of ourselves that we've been taught to fear, and realigning our lives and our businesses from the inside out. Now, you know me, I keep it real. So absolutely expect some raw solo episodes, some sacred storytelling, and also some soulful guest conversations with people who are doing the deep work and living boldly in their truth. And just so you know, new episodes are now going to drop every Wednesday. And that too is part of the realignment, because sometimes you just need that midweek reminder that you are still magic, you're still worthy, and you still are on your path. So whether you're sipping tea, coffee, a glass of wine, under the moonlight, let's go ahead and raise a glass to healing, to expansion, and to becoming the most unapologetic, authentic, and immeasurable version of ourselves. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to the You Are Immeasurable podcast. As always, I'm Tonesha Hyde and I'm your host. So today I want to talk to you about the dark feminine. Now, as we speak about this, of course, we're going to be stepping into the shadow. Now, I want you to understand that this is not at all for you to run from it, right? It's not for you to fix it or anything, but it's for you to remember the power that you've hidden or buried there. So for this episode, it took me a while to go ahead and record it. And this is the reason why. I don't see her as just a concept. It's not just something that I teach. It's not just something that I've dabbled in, I've looked into. But what I've found is that she's a truth that I had to live through. She's a force that I had to accept and open myself up to so that I could not only survive, but so I could thrive. And she's also that mirror that I had to face. And for many of you that follow me on social media, you've probably seen that for several months, I've really been talking about Medusa. And I also did a workshop about Medusa being a mirror. And that's what we have to own, right? We have to own that the dark feminine, she's a part of you. And not only is she a part of you, but she's a part of you that society and lots of people have tried to kill by stressing upon you the need to be polite. She's that part of you that nobody can control outside of you. And because of that, many of the stories that we hear, that we've learned about the dark feminine, the dark goddesses, they're always made out to be dangerous. And then part of embracing those facets of yourself, you'll realize that that's the part of me that has been hiding in the shadow. That's the part of me that truly, truly remembers who the hell I am before all the shame, before the silence, before somebody told me that I needed to smile more, that I needed to be more polite, that I needed to be nicer, that I needed to speak with my filter on, and those that encouraged me or us to take up less space. And so really, I wanted to talk about it because here's the thing. No, we're not doing that anymore. The true essence of us, yeah, she was never, ever meant to be tamed. So if you haven't heard the category or the phrase, but you might be thinking, if you don't know, who or what is the dark feminine? Well, she's the goddesses that they demonized. I brought up Medusa. Medusa is the goddess whose rage was called a curse because she was violated, because she was betrayed. Then there's Lilith. She's the goddess who wouldn't submit, who wouldn't shrink herself, who wouldn't consent to being a plaything. Another one that comes to mind is Kali. She's always depicted as this monstrous destroyer, but in all actuality and truth, she's a mighty protector and helps you to bring about your divine rebirth. The dark feminine is not evil. Honestly, I see her more like she's that medicine that you need that may not taste so good, but it does amazing, miraculous things in your body. She's the part of you that holds boundaries to the point of almost like a blood oath. Like, no, you're not crossing this line. She's that part of you that says no. That's a complete sentence and doesn't explain. She's that part of you that stops you from shrinking to fit into places that you were never meant to be in the first place. And here's the thing with that, why we have to open up to that side of us. We have to open up to that energy because as I said before, most of us as little girls, as teenagers, as young women, we were taught to be nice. We were taught to forgive. We were taught to overextend, overgive, overcompensate. But there's always that point when we realize that, yeah, no, this is not working. When she begins to start to rise, we start to get angry. We feel that anger. We start getting those downloads and those insights and those divine inspirations, the knowing. And we even have those moments or those periods where we're constantly thinking that something is wrong with us because of the marching orders, the expectations we've been given, that we've been conditioned to, that we've been taught that this is how we ought to be. And so we get to thinking, why am I so emotional? Why am I just over everything, everyone? I'm just tired. We get to thinking of ourselves as ungrateful and starting to look at things like, why am I not grateful for these crumbs or this little bit or what have you? But as it grows within us and as it rises and we start paying attention to it and we realize that, wait a minute, this anger that I feel, this rage, this is not bad. This is not evil. This is not to hurt anyone. This is sacred. This is me really feeling the feelings surrounding the violations, the abuse, the mishandling of us. So let me tell you, if you're feeling any of these things, if you've been going through this, then I absolutely want you to know, lovely, you are not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. That is your remembering. That's you remembering. And for myself, I experienced it in several different, I guess, ways or stages because I I was and we've talked about this before. I was very into or very much a part of being a Christian for a while. And I got to a point where nothing made sense and the heaviness was so much that I was at my limit, at my physical, my emotional, my mental limit. And that's when I began to feel her. And that's when I began to realize that me thinking that I was broken, me thinking that something was wrong with me was the weight. Me having to exert so much energy and work so hard to keep up the facade of being what everybody was telling me I was supposed to be. That was the problem. That was the problem. And I was at that limit of everything that I had built around who I thought I needed to be. That shit was shattering. It was cracking. It was falling apart. And so I invited that fire from the core of me to burn all of that shit up, burn it down. Again, like I said, I was at the limit. No, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep this up. I can't keep smiling and faking the funk. I can't keep biting my tongue. I can't keep overlooking the dishonor, the disrespect. I just couldn't anymore. Quick pause, love. If you're feeling the call to expand your healing gifts, or if you're finally ready to trust that you are real, then Embody the Flame is exactly what you're looking for. It's not just another certification. It's a sacred journey. It's a 3-part rite of passage through the maiden mother crone within you, where Kundalini Reiki meets ancient feminine wisdom and, of course, dragon fire energy. Now, this is for healers, priestesses, guides, any spiritual entrepreneur or individual who is ready to fully rise in their power and lead with integrity, confidence, and soul. Right now, I have an early bird pricing that is open. And special bonus, if you're a member of the Temple Phoenix and the Serpent, then you receive 50% off. Now, you know in your gut and in your soul if this is for you. And if you feel it, trust the nudge. Check the show note or DM me if you're interested and need more details. Now let's get back to the magic. And in that is when I was introduced, or rather, I'll say I was invited to experience the dark feminine energy. I was invited to experience the dark goddesses. And I had seen pictures and the statues of Kali. And I was like, wow, why does she look so scary? Because, hey, we're fed, I guess, what would it be in Western religion or whatever, we're fed this fake ass image of what God is, right? But it's when we realize that what we're being told and what we're being taught a lot of times is really watered down, and it's whatever man description that made it to the mainstream, and that's where everything stops and gets stuck. But so looking at the images and things of Kali, it always kind of freaked me out, honestly. But when I invited the dark feminine energy to rise within me, when I was open to experience that energy, the energies of these goddesses, realized she's not scary at all. Unless you're doing something you ain't got no business, right? Or you're mistreating people, you're using people. That's when she's scary. I had heard about Lilith from the aspect of it's a myth or rumor or whatever that she was Adam's first wife, and not really about why she didn't stay, because of course they're not going to tell you those things. But even in that, it always seems strange to me. Okay, if divorce is not supposed to be a thing, then how is she the first wife and Eve is the second? What are we doing here? I'm just saying, maybe that's how my mind works. Experiencing that energy that freed up my throat chakra, that, hey, I'm gonna say what needs to be said. I don't care who likes it. I don't care who doesn't like it. I'm going to say what needs to be said for me. And again, not in a way to hurt people, not in a malicious, vindictive way, but in a way of keeping me free. So my words they got sharper. They came quicker as well. I no longer overthought or triple checked or had whole conversations in my head trying to figure out different scenarios and different things to make sure that I was wording things properly so that everybody felt okay. I didn't make anyone uncomfortable or whatever. No, we're not doing that anymore. That's no longer a thing. And then my boundaries got firmer as well. I stopped letting people overstep, stopped letting people take advantage. Because when you're in the politeness, in the people pleasing, you make excuses to yourself as to why you're allowing people to use, abuse, and mistreat you. Well, embracing that energy, baby, we ain't doing that no more. Because I had got to a point where I didn't recognize myself. I didn't recognize myself because I was buried under all of this foolishness, all this bullshit. So when I opened up and allowed this new raw energy that felt so right because it was me to rise. At first, I was like, ooh, wait a minute. Because I had been wearing the facade for so long, right? Wearing the persona, wearing the masks for so long. I was like, oh shit, okay. And yeah, there was a moment that I was scared because I was like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Is everybody going to leave? Is nobody going to talk to me? Nobody's going to want to be my friend? Well, I never really had any friends anyway, right? So what's the difference? At least now I'll be free. And I felt that freedom. And I remember standing in front of the mirror and affirming things to myself, correcting things to myself and with myself. Yeah, tears streaming down my face. At some points, I was angry and just letting it all out, accepting it and owning it and realizing that I don't owe anyone anything but myself. And I owe myself to be true to myself. And after that, everything started to change. Everything started to change. So if this is making sense to you, and I really hope it is, I hope you feel this in the depths, the pits of your belly. I want you to give yourself the opportunity to open to this energy. Because again, this energy is you. I want you to give yourself just a moment. Take a breath with me, if you will. And if you can't, close your eye and ask yourself this question. And I want you to ask it from your gut, from the pit of you, from your soul, not your head. I want you to feel this. I want you to feel the question, and I also want you to feel the answer. And the question I want you to ask yourself is, what have I been taught to fear in myself? I want you to allow yourself to breathe with that for just a moment. I want you to wait for the answer. And I want you to know that the answer can show up in many ways. It might come as a memory. You might hit a nerve and it might be a clenched jaw. You may experience a wave of anger, a flicker of rage, or you just might feel an ache in your heart or somewhere in your body that you've been ignoring for years and years. I want you to know that's her. That's her. And as I've already explained to you, she's not here to hurt you. She's rising. She's asking for an audience with you. She's asking for your attention because she's here to free you. And I want you to understand that allowing, opening up to and working with the dark feminine, it's not about just changing how you're going to see yourself. It changes almost everything about you. It changes how you move. It changes how you speak. It changes how you claim or take up space. She helps you to be bold and to stop apologizing for your wisdom. She helps you to stop negotiating with people that are forcing you into hiding, into dimming your light, or even into being silent. She helps you to stop beating the hell out of yourself to make others comfortable. She teaches you how to walk in a room with your head held high, your aura on full fire mode, taking up all the space and not asking for permission to be you, not asking for permission to exist. She teaches you that what everybody else might think is too much is exactly who you were designed to be, who you've been prophesied to be. She helps you to see that your grief is sacred, that your rage is not a bad thing. It's a holy cleansing thing, that your body remembers all the things, all the stories that you've never been allowed to speak or to share or to even acknowledge happen. This is your time. This is your opportunity to do something amazing for yourself. And you invite this energy, this essence, this power to rise in you. And it does take some preparation. It does take some contemplation. It does take some work. It really does. It really, really does. And you may have to, have some conversations with yourselves. You may have to meditate. You may have to journal. You may need to ask yourself some questions. Questions like, what part of me have I silenced to survive? That's an important question. Sit with and ask yourself, where am I still apologizing for being powerful? And something that's really fun is asking yourself and really sitting with and looking for an answer to what goddess shows up in my shadow. And what is she trying to teach me? What's she trying to help me with? What's she trying to help me to overcome? So, love, I just wanted to talk about this today. And we'll continue to dive into dark feminine energy. We'll definitely get really into talking about dark goddesses and things of that nature. because we need to know. We need to know. They help us to realize it's nothing wrong with us. They help us to overcome our ego, our fear. They help us to embrace the true essence of ourselves. So remember the questions that I've proposed during this episode. Write them down. Really, really sit with them, with yourself, and allow whatever comes to come. Really seek the answer to who have I've been pretending not to be just to be safe. It's time to get rid of all of that, to shed that shit. It's time to make some noise. It's time to remember. Because sugar, yeah, you're not too much. You're exactly the right amount of you, wholly, entirely, and fully. You're not broken. You just were never supposed to fit someone else's mold. You are not the villain in your own story. And if you're ready, if you're open and you're willing, then baby, you're going to emerge in a rebirth that no one saw coming. And that, beautiful, is how and when you become the immeasurable you. Until next time, cheers to your transformation. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of You Are Immeasurable. I hope something in today's conversation sparked a remembering, a shift, or even just a softening in your spirit. If you've loved this episode, do me a favor. Please share it with someone who needs it and make sure you're following the show so that you never miss a new activation. You can connect with me over on Instagram or Facebook at Agitator Hyde. That's my handle on all platforms. DMs are always open if you want to go deeper. If you have questions or you just want to share how the episode landed for you, or you can also comment on whichever platform you are listening to this episode on. Always remember your power, your path, and your purpose are already within you. You are absolutely not broken. You are blossoming. You are becoming. And remember, you are immeasurable. So until next time, be well, be bold, and stay true to the divine within you.